This smells
It smells really good.
like crazy. I could eat this on its own. Hey, I'm John.
And I'm Katie, and welcome to Pizza with Plants. We are back with another pizza dough variation from our Pizza Bible book and Tony Giovignani. So this one is a Sicilian style. So this is our Sicilian pan from Lloyd's Pans, made here in the US, pre-greased by John here.
We're not sponsored. We bought this, but I'll put a link down below. They're great people. We have like 4 of their pans.
We might have 5 now.
We might. I might have bought another one
Recently.
Sorry.
Anyway, so this pizza dough is interesting. It's so Sicilian style. Actually, it's very similar to a pizza called down in Puglia region, and that actually means sheep pan.
Oh.
So that's where the Teglia term comes from. It means sheep pan. And so as part of the baking process, we're actually going to par bake it before we put the toppings on. So we'll show you through to the par baking stage to get you going, and then you can put whatever you like on it, and then bake it for a second time. We're gonna I can't remember how we'll use this one, but we'll come up with a recipe, so you'll just have to check back.
Yes, we're going to do the dough, just the dough, so you know how to do that. But we do have a Sicilian pizza recipe that we've put together.
Fixings on the top, as my mom says.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make it and eat it.
Yes,
So.
It'll be very light and fluffy. I think it's going to be kind of like thin focaccias,
Yeah.
the intended outcome. So
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sure we'll achieve that.
Yeah. It should be fun.
All right, let's go.
All right. Andiamo.
So for our Sicilian pizza dough, we're going to be using a Poolish starter, which is really going to add a lot of depth and flavor to the pizza. So the day before we're going to start our dough, we're going to get our Poolish started. Just add a little bit of yeast to some room temperature water, get that all mixed in, dump that into some flour, and then just give it a quick stir. It's going to be kind of thick, like a pancake batter. Once it's all incorporated and there's no dry flour left, go ahead and cover it with saran wrap, put it out on the counter, and leave it at room temp for 24 hours. Our Poolish is ready to go, so let's get the rest of the dough started. We're going to begin by getting our yeast and water mixed up well together. And while that's resting and kind of waking up, if you will, we're going to add in our flour and our diastatic malt into the mixer. The malt is going to add a little bit of depth of flavor, but it will also add help with a little bit of browning during the cooking process. Get those mixed up, add your yeast in, get that all mixed in together, and add the remainder of your water and mix that on low. Once the dough starts to come together, go ahead and stop the mixer and add in your Poolish. Mix that for a couple more minutes, stop it again, add in your salt. Go ahead and get it mixing again for a couple minutes. Then you're going to stop it one more time, and you're going to clean off your dough hook, scrape the sides, add in your olive oil, and let that mix for another few minutes. The dough has really come together, so we're going to get the dough hook and the bowl cleaned out. We're going to be putting the dough onto a baking sheet that's oiled so we can do some stretch and folds and kind of light kneading. This dough is going to have a decently high hydration level, so you're going to want to have some wet hands as you're working it. So just do a couple stretch and folds, turn the dough as you're doing these stretch and folds, flip it over. Once you've got your stretch and folds done, we have a second container that we've got oiled, and we're going to let the dough rest for 30 minutes. That can be in a bowl. We have a proofing box, but just something that you can cover with a wet towel and let the dough rest for 30 minutes. So our Sicilian dough has been resting for about 30 minutes. We're going to get it out of the proofing box and back onto the counter so that Katie can do a couple more stretch and folds. We really want to kind of build that the gluten structure of the dough. So she's using a dough scraper to kind of help the process along. Just keep your hands well oiled. You're going to want to add some more oil back into either your bowl or proofing box, whatever you're going to cold ferment it in, and just go through that kneading process, form it into a ball, then get it into your bowl or proofing box, and into the fridge it goes. Our Sicilian pizza dough has been cold fermenting for 48 hours and it looks amazing. At minimum, you're going to want to let it cold ferment for at least 24 hours. We opted for 48. So we're just going to get it out of the proofing box and into our Sicilian pan. Make sure that's well oiled. And then you're just going to start gently doing a motion with your hands to kind of stretch it out into the corners. Be gentle because the dough's been in the fridge. We're going to let it sit at room temp uncovered for about 30 minutes and then we'll do another forming. So the dough's been proofing for 30 minutes out at room temp, so we're going to do one more little forming, trying to get it out into the corners. We opted actually for the last proofing to do it in the oven. So we just turned on the light on our oven and let it proof in there for about an hour, and as you can see, it totally filled up the pan and looks great. So the secret to a great Sicilian pizza is to par bake your crust. So we're going to start out, we've got the oven preheating at 450. We have our pizza steel and our pizza stone. We're going to start at 7 minutes up on the top. After that, we're going to pull it out, rotate it 180 degrees, and then put it onto the bottom for another 7 minutes. And then you just pull it out. You're going to get it out of the pan and onto a cooling rack so that there's some airflow underneath. And you're going to want to let this sit for 30 minutes before you start baking it.
This smells.
It smells really good.
Like crazy. I could eat this on its own. I mean, it smells like focaccia, wouldn't you think?
It does, and it looks like focaccia, and it kind of makes like focaccia without the dimpling, but just light and bubbly. And so this is the par baked, and then the next step would be to actually make the pizza. So you add your toppings, put it back in the pan. You're supposed to let it cool for 30 minutes to 2 hours. So we're letting it air and cool, and then we'll put it back in the pan, dress it up, and put it back in the oven. So
and the whole idea, from what we've learned, the whole idea behind doing the par baking is so that this will kind of not dry out, but it will stay crisp because you're going to put the sauce on top of this, all your toppings, but this will be crisp, and then it'll crisp up even more in the oven. So a lot of effort. But
not a ton of effort. It just takes time. This one takes planning with the Poolish and then letting it ferment.
Agreed. This isn't a weeknight thing.
Yeah.
This
kind of like sourdough. It's a 3-day process between Poolish, starter, whatever.
It's like Sunday sauce. You're gonna.
Isn't that just like leftovers?
No, but I mean it's an all-day thing. I mean, when
this isn't an all-day thing. It's just a little bit each day. You have to work your schedule backwards from when you want to have it.
That's fair. That's
kind of like sourdough.
But all good things are worth waiting for.
Yeah, so stay tuned because we're going to turn this into actual pizza with toppings. And that's a separate video, but...
Right, but if you do this, let us know. Yeah. Let us know how what you did with it and how it turned out and what you think. And thank you. I mean, that book is awesome.
Oh, I put it away.
Yeah. Tony. No, it's not Tony. Here,
it is. The Pizza Bible is the book.
Yes. This book right here.
Yeah, Tony.
If you like making pizza, Tony Gimignani, go out and get this book. We're not. We paid for it.
He doesn't know who we are, but it's a really good book.
Nobody really knows who we are except you.
These people know.
Yes, no, they do.
Okay, all right. Enough chatting.
Okay, yes. Go make a pizza.
Be kind.
Eat pizza.
With plants.
See ya.